As in the case of all colleges and universities around the world, a method is required for it to operate efficiently. In the case of FIU, the software is called PantherSoft and is also referred to as MyFIU. The software is supplied by PeopleSoft through Oracle and is the main infrastructure which keeps the school operational on a daily basis. The system is used for accounting, personnel, payroll, employment, student records, billing, and so much more. Additionally, the software is used by both students and faculty and staff. In recent years, there were several complaints about MyFIU and the hassle of using it. As a result, a study was conducted to determine the usability of the software. The usability test of PantherSoft was established to test random people who had little to no experience with the software. This test was used to determine if the complaints heard were true, and if so, how they could be resolved. In order to select the right participants for this test, a screening of 15 individuals was completed in order to select the 5 individuals to be tested. Once the participants were selected, they were escorted individually at different times to a quiet location to begin testing. The test was conducted by one facilitator using pre-designated tasks that an average FIU student would be expected to accomplish. Once they completed the paperwork, each person was given the test.
Due to the nature of PantherSoft, it was found that the best testers would be those with little or no experience using the product. A screening of 15 individuals was conducted to determine the participants which would best suit the needs of the usability test. As a result, 5 of the 15 participants were selected. For testing purposes, the subjects were allowed to use and evaluate PantherSoft in a controlled environment using pre-designated tasks that an average FIU student would be expected to accomplish with relative ease. In this room, a laptop was set to the login page of MyFIU and ready for each participant to use. Each participant was asked to perform the task which involved scheduling, finding open courses, and enrolling themselves in the appropriate classes. These are the tasks the participants were asked to complete. 1. Individual will be asked to locate an open section of first-year experience that would generally adapt to their current daily schedule at that time and assess any error given. 2. Individual will be asked to locate an open section of SLS 1501 during spring 2013 that generally would adapt to their current daily schedule at that time. We will ask them to confirm that the section chosen is an open section at the Modesto-Medee campus and not on a remote virtual campus. 3. Individual will be asked to locate open sections of ENC 1101 during spring 2013, which would generally meet their schedule, and narrow the search to include only the classes offered at the Modesto-Medee campus. 4. Individual will be asked to display on one screen all sections of ENC 1102 being offered at the Biscayne Bay campus. Individual will be asked to display all courses offered under English composition, all courses beginning with ENC offered by FIU Online. Select one of these courses and attempt to register for this section. 5. Individual will then be asked to locate and display all open and closed sections of PSY 2012. Individual will then be asked to add a closed section of PSY 2012 to their shopping cart for further review. Individual will then be asked to attempt to register for the classes added to the shopping cart. There were 5 individual sessions where each participant was given a consent form and entrance questionnaire before they were allowed to begin the evaluation. Once the evaluation was completed, they were given an exit questionnaire to fill out.
The usability testing encapsulated a varied sample of our student population. It consisted of 2 males and 3 females, with ages varying from 22 to 29 years old. Also several class years, a freshman, a transfer, a junior, and 2 seniors with intermediate to experienced computer skill levels. It proved difficult to find a college student with access to Oracle's PeopleSoft that wasn't familiar with computers. The first participant would be our most experienced, Greg Robinson, 24-year-old senior studying information technology. He considered himself experienced, not an expert user. He indicated that he used the computer mostly for school and for gaming. The second participant, Santana Saint Remy, a 29-year-old nursing student in her first year, she considered herself an intermediate user of the computer and used it for the typical functions such as web surfing and shopping and social media. The third participant was 24-year-old Ronette Lloyd, a transfer student from Miami-Dade College who is majoring in accounting. Since Miami-Dade College does not use Oracle's product for their scheduling, Ronette is looking at the PeopleSoft style of systems for the first time. She considered herself experienced with the computer, using the internet over 16 hours a week for school and general web functions. The fourth participant, 24-year-old Doug Jeffries, is an industrial engineer senior. Doug considered himself an experienced expert user, having used the computer for over 15 years into his childhood. However, with his busy schedule, he is only using the internet 4 to 8 hours a week, mostly to check in with school and social networks. The final participant was Amanda Abella, a 22-year-old English Lit junior who considers herself an The final participant was Amanda Abella, a 22-year-old English Lit junior. She considers herself an intermediate user, but uses the internet close to 16 hours a week for work, school, and social purposes. She also runs her own blog, attracting 500 visitors weekly. Here's a clip from one of the testing sessions.
Thank you for agreeing to participate in the usability test for MyFIU. Today we are going to ask you to serve as a participant and a student to help find any flaws and usability errors on the MyFIU portal. Our goal is to see how easy or difficult it is for you to use MyFIU. Throughout this process, we will note down your reactions and comments about the usability. I'm here to record your reactions, comments, and feedback on the MyFIU portal we will be testing today. During this session, I will not be able to offer any suggestions or hints. There may be times, however, when I'll ask you to explain why you said or did something. Throughout the test, I will be assigning you tasks to complete to distinguish if MyFIU is working as intended. We will ask you to think out loud and work through these tasks. Tell us everything you are thinking, and as you attempt to determine how to complete each step. You will also be asked a series of questions about your experience at the end of the session. Here are some things that you should know about your participation that you should keep in mind. This is not a test of you, you're testing the usability of MyFIU. So do not worry about making mistakes. If you run into an error, take your time trying to figure it out. There is no right or wrong answer. This is just a test. Do not enroll for the class that you are not taking next semester. We will be taking notes during the session to further study if needed. Your name will not be associated or recorded with this data or findings from this evaluation. Please fill out this consent form for me. Finally, as you use the MyFIU portal, please do so as you would normally do at home or at school. Perfect. Okay. Do you have any questions before we begin?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you for partaking in the study. Please note before I proceed, I would like to indicate that we are testing the usability of MyFIU. You are invited to share your thoughts with us even during the process, but I am unable to help you during any of the tasks. If you run into anything that seems to be an issue or are confused, just remember to take your time. Do not feel pressured to complete this as fast as possible. This is the test of features and usabilities of the website, not you. I will gladly answer any questions once all the tasks are completed, but here is your first task. All right. When you look for classes, assume you're looking at the University Park campus during the spring term, 2013. From the home portal, please find an open section of first year experience available during spring 2013 that generally meets your schedule.
There isn't anywhere that I can cite first-year experience, and it's really not showing where I can find those. Even there, it doesn't say, it doesn't give a listing to say first-year experience. Is there another code or something, or?
Can't say anything.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm not able to find first-year experience.
There proved to be many similar setbacks with the MyFIU website. For the first and second questions, the results were similar. The setup of the web page seemed to be the most confusing to the participants because it was hard for them to locate what was required because of the small font. Following the first two questions, the responses for the third question were also similar because every participant felt that there was a need for change to the layout and design of the web page. One suggestion that really stood out was the implementation of an informational balloon. One participant further described it, stating that this balloon would be used to provide details or a brief description of what is being asked when the mouse hovers over the title. For the fourth question, it was almost unanimous that nothing should be removed from the page because all of the information that was presented on that page is required to make that function valid. As the analysis of the results continued, many of the responses were similar, and we found the same results.
The participants of the usability study unanimously agreed that PantherSoft could be made to better suit the needs of students. By making simple tweaks to the user interface and take on a more intuitive, streamlined format. The first participant in our usability study, Greg Robinson, thought of the system as very straightforward, although it could undoubtedly benefit from more tabulation, a color distinction for online class sections, and a standard array of sort options for the class search when results often exceed 15 for popular classes. While our second participant, Santanas and Remy, thought the drop-downs were confusing and that it was time-consuming to keep changing the term for every course search. Ronette Lloyd, our third participant, found the system not very user-friendly due to it only accepting course codes as opposed to also taking the course names, and that closed sections of a course should offer the option of waitlisting or override requests. Our fourth participant, Doug Jeffries, found the system to be confusing, slow, and the fonts were too small. Lastly, Amanda Abella also found the font to be too small and the shopping cart system to be confusing as it pertains to finding it and using it to finally enroll for the class sections.
It is evident that while the system accomplishes the basic tasks, there is still much that can be done to ensure the software is more usable and user-friendly. The usability test provides a better understanding of what works from what does not. Based on our small usability testing and its fruitful findings, we would like to recommend a larger scale usability test to capture a more precise snapshot of the exact areas of the PeopleSoft software to improve upon or to overhaul. Our specific findings dictate that streamlining of the enrollment system, specifically the cart and more options to search by, with the addition of tabs, sorting with distinguishing colors, and bigger fonts is a priority. But these findings are based on a very minute student sample of 5. It would behoove FIU to use a larger, more comprehensive sample to attain results that could only benefit their institution's essential software system. We would like to recommend a 1% sample of the student population, roughly 500 participants, which we believe would make a great sample. The previous recommendations will supply a more in-depth solution to rectifying the issues that students currently face with the software. Adhering to these recommendations will not only allow processes to flow much easier, but also prevent the added frustration which so many students and faculty have encountered before.